Okay.
Should I go ahead and arrest her?
It's not about being respectful. It's doing you a favor right
I know
now.
you're a
If you're
favor,
just
dude. You're
so
a fucking
set on being an ass.
You're being a because I have enough to take her to jail for reckless driving. So keep pushing my buttons. Because I'll hook her up and take her to jail, and I'll still tow her stuff. Right? As a matter of fact, I'm half tempted to do that right now.
I apologize for the great night.
Admit it, you were driving, right? I'm walking out of here. Be a man.
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
But
You're
I
my new
apologize.
favorite target, dude.
Hey,
Nah,
You
you're
hear
my
that?
new favorite target. I'm gonna get you. How you guys doing?
You're my new favorite target.
Huh?
I said, you're my new favorite target then.
Yeah. This is oh, it's you.
So you see how they change their tone, right? When they see that they're being recorded. That kid just told him he wasn't answering his questions the way he wanted him to. So that cop just threatened him, told him he's his new favorite target. And the kid, you heard the kid say, "Have a good night, officer." You know, like he was being respectful to him. He just wasn't getting the right answers that he wanted. So that cop fucking threatened him. I had this happen to me. Well, and the cop didn't disappoint, right? When Officer Travis Schilling woke me up from a peaceful nap. I was sleeping. 4 a.m, I was sleeping, okay? In a private parking lot in my vehicle, not doing anything against the law, right? He woke me up out of a sleep, okay? And then proceeded to treat me like I did something wrong. And granted, now I just woke up. I went out the night before with some friends, and we went to the bar, and I drank, and then whenever they dropped me off in the middle of town, at the time, my vehicle was parked right in a private parking lot of a business, right? So instead of going home, right, I went over, I had my keys, I got in my car, and I charged my phone up. My phone was about to die. So I charged my phone up, you know what I mean? And I the funny thing is, he probably thought that I lied to him or something, right? So I'm in a private parking lot, and I plugged my phone in to charge it up, and I dozed off. I wasn't driving my car. The car was actually parked there because my license was suspended, and I parked it at my coworker's house and walked to and from her house every day to go to work. I literally parked my car downtown every day. It was down there every day. So I just knew it was there. I had a key to it, and I just wanted to charge my phone up, right? So I got dropped off there and got in my car and fell asleep. Now, this cop, okay, he probably seen me sleeping in the car, woke me up, and probably thought that I drove the car there. So when I got out of the car, it was 2 hours. This is a couple hours after I had dozed off. He threatened me. He said, I'm going to review the camera footage, right, from the business. He's going to review the camera footage, and if I'm lying to him, I'm fucked, right? If I'm lying to him and the camera footage shows me driving into that parking lot there, then I'm in trouble. I said, I have no reason to lie to you. Why would I lie to you? I said, why? I said, I told you I just came back from the bar. I said, why would I live 3 blocks away. Why would I drive my car and drunk with a suspended license and park it in the middle of town and pass out? I mean, come on. Why would I do that? That's the most retarded thing I've ever heard. You know what I mean? It's so fucking retarded. So he said he was going to review the camera footage. He probably thought, oh, I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him this time, you know? Because every time he's thought something, I did nothing but tell him the truth. And he just assumed something else, right? And I've never lied to him. I never had a reason to lie to him. But he's always thought, I'm just assuming, but it seems like he always thought that I was up to something more, you know what I mean? And whenever he would find out the truth and find out that I was telling him the truth, it would piss him off even more, right? So he woke me up out of a sleep, right? And so then I kind of felt like, okay, I guess I'm not allowed to sleep in my car. You know, I didn't know the laws or you know, what the deal was. But I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to walk home now, you know? And he says, you're not walking anywhere like that in my streets, in my town. And I said, wait, what? What do you mean? Oh, you're clearly intoxicated, you know? I said, no, I'm not. I said, I've been asleep for a couple hours here. And he says, no, I don't care. You're not walking anywhere in my town. So he proceeds to act like he's going to do me a favor and give me a ride home, right? So he gives me a ride home, right? And he lectures me the whole way home. Lectures me like I did something wrong, like I'm up to no good and I'm just fucking up, right? He stood there and lectured me for 20 minutes outside my house at 4 a.m. And he lectured me and he said, you're lucky I don't give you a public drunkenness, okay? You're lucky I don't give you a public drunkenness. Excuse me? I was perfectly fine being asleep in a private parking lot in my vehicle until you forced me into public, right? I didn't tell him that, but that's, you woke me up, motherfucker, at 4 a.m. And then you're going to try to threaten me with public drunkenness. Are you serious? Like public drunkenness. And I didn't even go into public because he wouldn't allow me to. He gave me a ride home, right? From a private parking lot to my private home, right? Not in public. And I wasn't even intoxicated. He didn't run any tests or anything like that. And I had to stand there and listen to him fucking lecture me for 20 minutes because he made me believe that he wasn't going to give me a fine for public drunkenness, right? I'm lucky that he didn't. And I better just sit there and listen to his fucking lecture for 20 minutes. So I listened to it. I was very respectful to him. You know, I pretended like, okay, yep, I'm just wrong. I'm just a horrible person. Yep, okay, I'm listening, you know. He just lectured me like I was just fucking up and like such a bad person. I didn't even do anything wrong. You know what I mean? Nothing at all. It's not against the law at all to sleep in your car in a private parking lot. Not at all. As a matter of fact, he was disturbing my peace, right? Harassing me. But it was about 3-4 weeks later, right? It's probably after he went and reviewed the security footage and discovered that I wasn't lying to him, discovered I was telling him the truth. I get a fine in the mail for public drunkenness. No shit. I swear to God, I got a fine in the mail for public drunkenness, public intoxication. So this is another incident where Travis Schilling just lied to me, completely bold-faced lied to me, forced me to listen to his lecture. But then he also told me that night, he said, if you do anything else, right? Next time I have to deal with you at all, with anything, I'm going to make sure that you go to jail for as long as possible. As long as possible. For a couple years, I believe. He said a couple years. I'm going to make sure you do a couple years. You know what I mean? Like, that he threatened me. He told me he was going to do everything in his power to make sure I go to jail for as long as he can. For at least a couple years. Okay? He told me this to my face. Right? That was probably 2016. Something like that. 2017. So it was somewhere around there. And it would have been, oh no, wait, that was, okay. I'm trying to think of which car it was. So that would have been, no, that was 2018. Yeah, that was, okay. That would have been after he told me man to man, you know, I won't mess with you going to work, you know. Yeah, after that is when this happened. So he was trying to get me. He wanted to get me. He was mad that he couldn't get me on anything there. So he did. He gave me a public drunkenness fine. It's like every little fucking thing he could do, he was going to do, right? It just doesn't make sense. I've never done anything to him. I've never done anything for him to target me like that. But that's what he was doing, right? For some reason or whatever, he decided to, just didn't decided he was going to do that to me, but just never told me about it, right? Until I get to punish. Then I just get to figure out why. But that's what this cop did. You see, this cop has no patience. He's on a power trip. He has no patience, and they don't like it when they don't get their way. They don't like people knowing their rights. They don't like it when they make an assumption. Okay, they're making an assumption, and they ask a question, and if it's not the answer they're looking for, to fill in the blanks for their assumption, then they get fucking crazy like this. They throw little hissy fits like children. Seriously, it's like a child does. And they have a badge and a gun, and they actually have specific training, the expert training on what their job is and their protocols are. And their first and foremost is to de-escalate, right? So even though they have the specialized training and everything to de-escalate a situation, they took an oath, they know what they're doing, they know what their job is, and they still can't fucking hold it back, you know what I mean? They have no patience. So you seen the way he acted there, right? Let's rewind it here.
We're driving, right? I'm walking out of here.
Let's hold on a second. There we go.
Be a man.
No.
Okay.
Be a man, he says.
You're my new favorite target, dude.
Hey,
Nah, admit it, you were driving, right? I'm walking out of here. Be a man.
No.
Right now.
I apologize. You have a great night.
Admit it, you were driving, right? I'm walking out of here. Be a
I
man.
apologize.
No.
He said, I apologize, have a great night. Okay? And he keeps asking the question again. Be a man, Be a man. That's what Travis Schilling said to me. Man to man, right? They like to use that word, man to man, right? Why is that? They think, does he think he's a man? He's a man's man?
Okay. You're my new favorite target, dude. Nah, you're my new favorite target. I'm gonna get you. How you guys doing?
You're my new favorite target.
Huh?
I said, you're my new favorite target then.
Yeah. This is oh, it's you.
No.
I know you.
I don't know you.
Yeah, you do.
I'm going to pull the...
See that? He wasn't even looking at him. And he looked the other way, and he's like, oh, it's you. I know you. They do that on purpose, right? It's an intimidation tactic to make the person think that they know who they are, and then they do this targeting shit to people on purpose, blatantly, because they want to create this fear amongst everybody to just do what they want, to automatically just do what they say and just bow down to them anytime they're around. I know you. Don't I know you?
With anybody, I speak to people.
Oh no, that's fine. Fine, man. No, he's driving like an idiot. Absolutely.
Was that with
freaking
Jeff?
reckless.
Was I out at Jeff with the...
Yeah, it was Jeff.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah, it was Jeff. No, man, he's just driving like a complete freaking asshole, and he wants to sit here and lie to your face.
Yeah,
and
I
I'm
hear.
cutting him a break. I'm doing the right thing and cutting the guy a break, and he wants to sit here and be a complete, and throw his girlfriend under the bus.
Sir,
Yeah.
there's a little more to the story than you understand.
You probably shouldn't give any more to the story to the
I'm
police.
sure there is.
The other night, I've had an issue with one of the sheriffs, and I reported my camper stolen, and he thought that I had
Yeah, this
something
guy
to
was
do with it.
really cool with us,
And
with
he
Jeff.
took it off the stolen list, but it was really stolen.
Yeah.
And we found it, but we can't get it back.
And then he's
because
like
we gave
that.
that dude an was able to file for ownership
Yeah.
of it because he took it off the stolen list. We still owe like $20,000 on it, okay? Did you? Well, the sheriff that came out, I called him, complained, of course, Well, I guess he was a little mad at me. But he ended up arresting me the other night and took me somewhere else. I lost consciousness and stuff like that. So that's probably why he's maybe not being as nice as
Kevin,
he is.
I've been here a long time, dude, and I treat a lot of people with a lot of respect, and I give a lot of leeway, you know. But
I want to apologize for being rude.
yeah, that's
Just
all it is, man.
That we've had problems where
I understand.
the whole
That's it.
detective thing.
That's it.
Here's how it works, dude. I'm cutting you a break. I'm cutting you a huge break. All right. I know you were driving. I can't prove it, but I still have enough to take the person who was driving to jail for reckless driving. I can articulate that all day long. So you're sitting here saying your girlfriend's driving. You know, I don't care at this point. You're home, right? You're not going to be driving anymore. You got a bad license. Get it fixed. It's not a big deal. You got a suspended license. Pay your tickets. Get it right. Reinstate
Well, I
your
paid the
license.
tickets. Just
You got to
I
reinstate
didn't
your
get.
license.
I didn't get to the DMV because
Yes, sir.
it's licensed out of Georgia.
Yeah, but you're running your mouth, man, and just being, quite frankly, an asshole. And I'm cutting.
See, we're not allowed to run our mouth or be an asshole to the police now. I thought it was a free country. You know? And freedom of speech, it doesn't matter. You're allowed to run your mouth and be an asshole. That should not change how they treat you whatsoever. They're trained to let that shit roll right off their shoulders. They're trained not to let that shit bother them. You know what I mean? And because you can tell a cop what you think of him, and he's not allowed to do anything. That's your right. That's your First Amendment right to petition your government. Your freedom of speech and petition. Because he's a public servant. You can tell him what you think about him. You have that right to tell him what you think about him, you know? To petition your government and tell him you think he's doing a piece of shit job, right? And he's a fat little piggy wiggly, and he's a, you know, jackboot thug pig, and you know, you can tell that the guy is like, he's probably a dork in high school and got picked on or something. That's like most of these cops are people that they, you know, they became cops so they could get people back, right, for picking on them. That's really what it seems like most of the people are. It really does seem like that. Until you get into the bigger towns and bigger cities where there's actual decent people, you know, that weren't the people that got picked on in high school. I believe Jason Owens probably got ran out of the fucking state police because he was probably you know, they probably didn't even, you know, he didn't have half the fucking fortitude or the integrity of a state police officer. I don't know what he did. I'm gonna have to look into it. I'm curious what he did, why he's no longer a state police officer. But if you get, you know, run off the state police, you shouldn't be able to become the chief of police. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I personally know of a couple situations where he absolutely broke the law. You know, he broke into my apartment unannounced and arrested me at gunpoint. He was covering his body cam when he was pointing the taser at my head. Right? So that happened. I was a victim in a case where a chick stole $2,400 off me. He wrote it up as $1,000 instead of $2,400. He just wrote it up as $1,000, and I go to the court hearing, and I meet another victim that the same person ripped off for, I'm not sure, a little more than me, right? More than me. And this same person ripped both of us off, and we were victims in the case. She goes into the hearing, goes into a room, talks to them. We're not allowed in, right? They come out, case is over. She's going to rehab. She's going to be working with them, so we're just screwed. We're just out. Sorry about your luck. You're screwed. That's what they told us. Sorry, you're not getting your money. You don't get your. Sorry, we're not going to do our job because she's now going to be a narc and she's going to work with us. Brandy Endler, right? She went into that and decided, whatever, she's going to work with them. She's going to be a narc. And so the victims, her victims, and these charges against her, they just all get dismissed. Those charges get dismissed. We don't get a say in it. Never got a say in it, right? So that happened. That was Jason Owens. So, and that was when he was a nanny glow cop. He was a nanny glow cop, right? So there's all these things like you know, they just pick and choose who they want to uphold the law on, and they think they know everything. They just assume everything and they judge people. They don't allow the system to do its job. They judge people because they have too much power.
Cutting you a break, you know? So just keep that in the back of your mind. You know, we have a lot of tools and
Okay, I'm cutting you a break, right? Keep that in the back of your mind, right? I'm doing you a favor. They always use that. I'm doing you a favor, right? And then listen to what he says next.
You're running your mouth, man, and just being, quite frankly, an asshole. And I'm cutting you a break, you know? So just keep that in the back of your mind. You know, we have a lot of tools and resources that we can use to address situations.
Now, you heard that, right? We have a lot of tools and resources that we can use to address situations. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Okay, so he says, you're being an asshole. I'm cutting you a break. We have a lot of tools that we can use and resources that we can use. So, you know, keep that in the back of your mind, right? You see what I'm saying? That's a threat. That is an absolute threat. What the fuck could he mean? Now, what are these tools and resources that they have? What is he referring to? A lot of tools and resources they can use to do what?
You know, and I'm sitting there talking to him, and it's a ticket. He's like, hey, I'm having a really hard financial time. You know? So, to address situations, cutting you a break. You know? So, just keep that in the back of your mind. You know, we have a lot of tools and resources that...
Right there. We have a lot of tools and resources that we can use to... What? We can use to what now?
That we can use to address situations.
Whoops.
He had his Lexus tag was expired by 3 months, you know, and I'm sitting there talking to him, and it's a ticket. He's like, hey, I'm having a really hard financial time, you know. To address situations.
To address situations. We have a lot of tools and resources that we can use to address situations. This kid has his license suspended. That's the same situation I was in, right? Not because he's a criminal or did bad or anything, right? I don't know why it's suspended, but he said he even paid the restoration fees. It's out of another state, so he can't get it, you know. He hasn't got that fixed or whatever, so it sounds like the cops are just picking on this guy, right? It sounds like he's already a target, doesn't it? Because the way he talks to the cops, he knows the deal. Have a nice night, officer. Thank you, you know. Sits there, he has patience. How is it that this person, right, is not a cop, has more patience than this person who's been in the job for 17 years?
I just pulled over a kid, not even...
Now, let's watch the end of it. Now, watch how he talks to the cameraman.
3. I can't remember the statute for reckless, but I'm just trying to think of articulating that and seeing a car that dove out of the way. I mean, I get it, but they got roosters legit.
Yeah, this house is, they got quite a bit of a mess going on.
Yeah, they're living in the wrong part of town for all the agriculture stuff. Yeah, and it was a really good conversation with Jeff and I.
I noticed that. You see that? Yeah, they got kind of like a mess going on here, right? Well, that seems to be like what the theme is, right? The neighbors get together with the cops, and they all are part of the same deal. And they say, let's get this person out of town. Let's get rid of these people. We don't like them here. So let's get rid of them. Right? And then what do they do? And they do this stupid targeting shit. And they make their life hell. They actually openly did this shit. The sheriff's department did this shit in Polk County, Florida. Right? Was it Polk County, Florida? Or it was one of the counties in Florida. They actually did this experimental policing where they would just incessantly harass certain people that they wanted out of their neighborhood. They would just like show up at their house and knock on their door for no reason and like all kinds of shit. Now that's a little different than what they're doing to me, but it was an open experimental thing that they were doing, you know, back when it was like they're testing it out. You know what I mean? It was like a case study on on predictive policing and community policing, right? Look up community policing, predictive policing. This is basically what drives the targeting program, right? And the community-based stalking, harassment, community mobbing, right? Group stalking, group harassment. And then they have the scripts already worked out. You know, they're going to fuck with you, and then they're going to paint the narrative. Because everything they do is to create a reaction from you. Whenever you react the way they plan on you reacting, because they plan on you recording them. They're going to stalk and harass you. They want you to record them. They want you to put it online. And then once you do, then they can plaster you and call you crazy, paranoid, schizophrenic. That way, whenever they off you and kill you, they can say that you have mental health issues, right? And you were mentally disturbed, that you had, that you were troubled. Right? And they have this big long trail online that they can show where the target is. They can just pick and choose what they want to show, and they show people saying, "Why are you so paranoid? Why are you so paranoid?" So when they plaster it on the news, they can just tell people, "Oh yeah, look, see, it's." People could clearly tell that he was troubled, that he thought people were following him. Yeah, no, he didn't think it. You motherfuckers were following him. Like, that's what you do. So just know that if you're being targeted, the plan is to off you at some point. The plan is to, at some point when it's convenient, right, to just end your life so they can get rid of the problem, to get rid of the person they deem as a problem, right? A problem for them. You've been a problem for them, and they need to deal with it. So that's how they deal with it, legally. That's how they legally deal with the problem. That's why they try to get Dillhole to escalate a situation. They just have no patience. And in my case, I heard the little tidbits around town that didn't make any sense. I heard from people that I was like armed and dangerous. I heard from people that I was going crazy, and I didn't even talk to anybody. Like, you know what I mean? I made sure that I didn't give them any reason or anything they could use to legitimize their claims that I was crazy. Because, they jumped the gun. They fucked up. They gave themselves away. And now they can't show you anything. They can't show you anything that would actually convince a person that I was crazy or that I had mental problems, because it doesn't exist. Because I learned my rights, I got proactive about it, and I started speaking out because they tried to kill me, and they were deleting shit off my phone, and I didn't know what else to do. I was trying to document it, and they would just delete it. So what do? And this is sick, and this is going on, and people need to be aware of this, because it can happen to anybody. It can happen to anybody at any time. They do it to their own. They would do this to their own people. It's fucking sick. They just throw each other under the bus. It's last man standing wins. Just like the Dark Knight Rises, that movie with the Joker at the beginning of the movie when they do the bank heist, right? And they get in the bus to escape the bank, and they just kill everybody along the way. Each person, it's his job to take out the guy before him, so they can take all the money for themselves. And at the end of the day, then the Joker ends up with all the money himself. Where's everybody else at? Oh, they're gone. And then he shoots him. Takes all the money for himself. You know what I mean? This is how they end. They all get recruited through means of blackmail. They get some dirt on the person, and then they hold that over their head. So then people are gonna try to save their own ass. Self-preservation. So not only do they not talk about it, they don't speak out about it, they keep very quiet about it, because they know what the deal is. They don't want to die. They don't want to get their life ruined and targeted. So they just think that their best bet is to shut up. Well, that's not the best bet. That's wrong. You don't want to do that. You want to speak out very loudly, very often, and make sure you mention who to look at if something were to ever happen to you. That way they won't touch you. That way they won't then. I believe that's the only reason I'm still alive, is thanks to that YouTube channel. I never realized that was going to be the case when it happened. I just didn't know what else to do, so I made the channel. And then from there, I just it made sense. Everything happens for a reason, right? And now there's still, the more that I put out, the more influential I get, the more sense I start to make, the more, the more they target me. They keep, but the less tactics they can use. They can use less tactics on me, but they really ramp things up. And they're not even afraid of exposing themselves. They're not even afraid if it looks like they're guilty. It's like they have been assured that this is going to work, that it's going to be successful. It's like they've been assured that it's going to work, because they have no fear at all of looking or appearing as if they're, the bad guy, if they're exposing themselves. But they're doing it every fucking day. I see them doing it. They keep exposing themselves and keep exposing themselves and keep exposing themselves. Why else would all these people be mad at me? They're just like so mad at me. It doesn't make any sense. They're mad because they're used to getting their way. Excuse me. And they're not used to losing. Obviously it's never happened to where they did this to somebody and it didn't work, right? Or they failed and got found out. Obviously that has not happened to them, or else they wouldn't still be doing it. But they didn't try it. They never met me. They weren't trying this on me before. Whoever they did it to, and I guarantee they've done it to multiple people in this town. They isolate the target. I mean, if you never do the research and you don't realize what's going on, I'd imagine that you would think you're going crazy. I would imagine. I've never thought that for a second, because I'm too strong-minded. I know my mind. My mind is perfectly sound, strong, rational, logical, critical thinking skills. Not paranoid, just completely rational, not emotional. I don't react, I respond. And they don't know what to do. They literally don't know what to do. I'm pretty sure. That's the way I see it. They don't know what to do with me. They're trying everything, but it's not working. Everything they try is backfiring. It's literally backfiring. They're literally shooting themselves not literally shooting themselves in the foot, but what they're doing is metaphorically, they're shooting themselves in the foot, and they're exposing themselves. They're telling on themselves. You can't make this shit up. I've been saying this for the last 2 years. They're telling on themselves. They're telling on themselves. Why do they keep telling on themselves? I don't get it. They could just shut up and stop doing what they're doing, and then that'd be it. But they won't give up. It's like they've never been told no before, You ever have a spoiled kid that always got their way, always got what they wanted? Yeah, they don't give up either. they throw hissy fits, stomp their feet, kick and scream and hit and do everything else until they get their way, because that's all they know. They've always gotten their way, and that's all they know. So they're going to kick and scream and bitch and make a bunch of noise until they get their way, or until they learn their lesson. Right? It's time that they learn a lesson. They need a lesson.
And it was so nice, and I'm surprised at that. I get it, where the 19-year-old is not going to listen if he's not listening at home.
It's, you did the job, dude. You know how it is. So.
Yeah, I just never did that, like what I heard. I never ever did that. I mean,
it is what it is.
We worked with one officer, one sergeant, and myself. It was two of us.
In Port Orange?
No, in the other area north of there. So,
yeah.
But yeah,
the kid's just disrespectful.
Yeah, I am too. We got in a match with Martin just a minute ago, because he tells me 22. Yeah, 22, and I thought he was talking about arresting me for disorderly conduct.
No, I wasn't there.
I can't use that anymore. That I wasn't there. I don't lie to people. I don't have a reason to lie to people. I'm just saying.
No, I'm saying I wasn't.
Yeah, I know. That's just a typical cop response. I'm just saying we were in a match with him, and it's like he was going after him and this and that, and I'm like, just de-escalate. I mean, I'm disrespectful as.
We can. De-escalation is what everybody wants all the time, right? That's what we praise and we train on it and stuff like that. But that's not escalating. My actions aren't escalating to make it worse. My actions are communicating with the kid who can't get it through his head that he's a freaking idiot.
Do you think you'll review
he's in
your
denial.
body camera? Do you review your body camera ever?
Occasionally, but I have
Yeah,
no issues.
you should review tonight's body cam from this incident and be objective with it and ask yourself if that wasn't escalating.
Oh, I absolutely escalated it.
Okay.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah,
but it was
But-
forceful communication.
But I'm gonna make an excuse
So,
for it.
Talking to him reasonably,
See, I'm gonna justify why I escalated it, right? Because he wasn't being respectful. Where does it say that somebody has to be respectful? It doesn't. This is the problem.
wasn't getting the point across, and so
You just write him a ticket then, or let him take it.
no,
You don't
no.
take.
That's a narcissist right there.
Take him to-
Talking to him reasonably wasn't getting the point across, and clearly you saw how he talked to his mom. So
Yes, I hear you.
He's just a knucklehead through and through.
I hear it. Me too. That's what everybody says about me. I'm a cop hater. I'm a piece of shit.
No, I don't have any problem.
No, I mean that's like 90% of the cops do.
Yeah, you're all good. I don't have no issues with you.
All right.
All right, guys, have a good night.
Yeah, right. He's sitting there fucking fuming right now. He's fuming. And I guarantee he's thinking, you're my new target now. They're trying to conjure up some plan, how he's gonna take this guy out or fuck over his life.
Yeah. He was the fucking coolest cop on that call out there. And this is what I mean. And I'm gonna tell it to both our cameras here. When there's cameras involved, they're nice as shit. When there's no cameras involved, that's what they do. They treat you and talk to you like a piece of dirt. Gubachari, I think his name.
That's what they do, right? Gubachari is his name, I guess. Whatever. But the point is, this is how it is across the board. Across the board. Because they what's the word I'm looking for? They reinforce each other's beliefs. You know, man to man and respect, and you know, if you could just shut up and listen to what I say and do everything I say and do exactly what I want, then we wouldn't have a problem, right? You see the problem there? So this is what needs a light shined at it. You know, a spotlight. And this needs to be under a microscope. This needs to change. This absolutely needs to fucking change. Plain and simple. Because I'm sorry, but there's no way you can sit here and say, I mean, given all the information and everything, that you can look at this and actually say, with a straight face or without lying, that police are protecting and serving people. They're not. They're tyrants. All they're doing is harassing people for money. It's policing for money. Policing for profit. That's all it is. I watched another video today on a channel called Here's the Deal, right? Very good channel. Here's the Deal, right? Because they all like to say, here's the deal. Go check out his recent video from yesterday or the day before, I think it was, where there's a sheriff, right, in Texas who represents 3,086, I think is the number of of sheriff departments that this sheriff is representing with his letter, where he's basically saying that they need to make sure that they maintain and retain their right to civil asset forfeiture. How they can take your money, they can take your property, and the way that happens, right? What is required by them to be able to legally say, okay, I'm taking this, right? And I forget what the number was. It was some astronomical number. The amount of money and property that was seized from people based on that policy alone, based on their right to just seize your assets and your property, cash, anything like that. They can just take it, and you know what they do with that? They split it up and they share it. It's like they're pirates, you know what I mean? Like pirates do. Well, they get a treasure, they go in and somebody's home and they just loot it. They loot somebody's home. They take everything legally and they split it up. You know what I mean? Say they break into my house illegally, right? And they don't have a warrant, and then they just take everything, and there happens to be say there's $20,000 in cash there, right? Oh, well, they're taking that. They're keeping it. You'll never see it again. Legally, there's nothing you can do. They will keep that money, and they split it up and they keep it. What the fuck? It's so totally wrong, right? Because they just determined, right, that anything above a certain amount of cash is suspicious, right? That's suspicious. And if you get caught with that much money on you in a car, you get pulled over and you have that kind of cash with you, they will take it. They will just take it. They won't give it back. They will take your money and will not give it back, period. You are not allowed to drive across, on a highway or from place to place, right, with a large amount of cash like that. I think it's anything over $10,000. Something like that. It might even be less than that. I'm not sure, but yeah, you're not allowed there. They just take it. Even if they don't have probable cause. I watched a video of a guy. He was relocating, from one part of the country to another. And he was driving there, and I think he had a rental car or something, but he was completely legal. The stop was just one of these random stops because it's a high crime area, right? And this guy made him sit in the car with him. He asked him all these fucking questions. It was just crazy. I don't know if it's the same one or not, but there was one that I watched where the guy had all this cash on him because he was relocating. He's literally, he picked up and he was moving to another place. He had all this money because he was going to buy a house and all this stuff. And he had something like, what was it, like $80,000, or it might have been like $100 and some thousand or something in cash, right? And he was very organized. He was very, very clean. He, did not even appear to have a suspicion of any, drugs or anything like that. Nothing of the sort. But because he had that much cash, they took it, and I don't know if he ever did get it back or not. I know whenever I saw it, he hadn't got it back yet, and he was fighting and pushing and to get it back. Yeah, and that's what they do. Travis Schilling took my prescription medication out of the bottle. It was in the bottle with my name on it. He dumped them into his hand and counted them. And then he said, I'm keeping these. He kept them. I went back to ask him about it 2 weeks later, and he threatened me and told me I better turn around and walk away, or else if I don't want another public drunkenness. Right? That's what he told me. He's yelling at me in the middle of town at 3 a.m. But he couldn't give me, at first, whenever I said, if I asked if I could have my medication back, he didn't know what to say. He forgot what he told me, or what the deal was. He said, I told you have to show proof of your prescription. And I said, well, what are you talking about? No, you didn't. You took the bottle. What do you mean? It was in my bottle with my name on it. What are you talking about? And that's when he flipped out on me, right? And then, whenever I took a DUI to avoid going to jail for driving under suspension, at the preliminary hearing, my public defender, he charged me with false swearing. He filed a false police report against me, lied on an official police report, told a couple citizens to lie as well. So he absolutely obstructed justice. He did all kinds of shit, all kinds of crimes. And I've evidenced all this. He did all this just so that why? So that he could keep my fucking prescription medication. But he lied and told. I heard him telling the public defender another lie. He doubled the amount that was supposedly in my bottle. He doubled it. He said no. He was supposed to have this many. The prescription was filled the day before. It was supposed to be this many in that prescription, and there was only this many. And he totally lied through his fucking teeth. I heard him. And he tried to claim like I took too much medication, which I didn't. I went and got blood work done. I never saw the blood work to this day. He promised me that after I did the blood work, he was going to call me, and we were going to sit and have a talk. And if I was lying to him, then I was going to get hit. But as long as I was telling the truth, he wasn't going to charge me with anything at all. He wasn't going to charge me with anything at all. And I was worried about going to jail for driving under suspension. So naturally, I'm like, let's go. I have no problem. Let's go take that blood work. He gave me a ride and everything. I confidently took that fucking DUI test, took the blood work. Confidently. And then, I was, after 2 weeks later, when I went back asking him, I said, what's the deal? You're supposed to call me. And he flipped out on me like that and told me I better turn around and walk away. Then I was pretty alarmed. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And I'm thinking, well, he had to have probably got my toxicology back and saw that I was telling the truth. That's probably what happened. He probably saw that I wasn't lying to him, and he was mad that he didn't get his way. He was probably mad because he had already had to work up something, right, to cover his ass, right, because he already took my medication. And from what I understand, and another story that somebody else told me that they were getting in trouble for, according to that, I have reason to believe that he took my medication and planted it as evidence on somebody else. Absolutely. That's what he did. That's what I think. Either that or he planted somebody else's evidence on somebody else because this person didn't have that at all. They just planted it and claimed that they had, what do you know, the same exact thing that he took from me and wouldn't give back, and then lied about the amount. So you see what I'm saying here? And I just took a DUI to avoid going to jail for driving under suspension. And it's funny because you can only get ARD once every 10 years, right? And I had already got ARD a year before that. I just finished it. But for some reason, they let me do ARD again. Isn't that funny? They allowed me to do ARD again twice in 2 years. Yeah, oh yeah. And isn't it funny that that's whenever he told me he wouldn't pull me over going to work, and he waited 3 days after my ARD hearing was up to pull me over going to work. He was trying to get my ARD revoked as well. You understand? He was trying to get that. He was waiting for the right moment so he could hit me with everything at once and then fuck my life over, so he could get my ARD revoked, right? Because if you get any charges while you're on ARD, it's a violation, and they can pull your ARD, and just keep running you through the system, keep resentencing you over and over again. But I did the right thing. I immediately called my probation officer, Pam Scorn. I called her and let her know that what the deal was. I said I was on my way to work. My license has been suspended for years and years. I'm trying to just go to work, And I think I'm gonna have to go to jail now because I got pulled over on my way to work. I got a traffic citation, on the way to work, driving under suspension. And, this woman, I give her props. Pam Scorn allowed me to keep going to work and stay on ARD, and as long as I didn't get any more trouble. And she allowed me to stay on ARD and go to jail at the same time. So I'm probably the only fucking person that's ever done this. I completed ARD while going to jail. So I did ARD and jail and work at the same time, all at the same time. So I'm sitting here just chewing up and spitting out everything they're throwing at me, right? And so what are they gonna do? They got to do something, right? So 1 month into my 2-month sentence, right? And 2 months in jail. A month into it, that's when they pulled the rug out from under me. They somebody lied to my employer. They had to have her involved because she knew it wasn't true. The lie. There was like 10 of us in an office. Okay. You got an anonymous report that I'm falling asleep at my desk that's right outside your door. And I'm the number one employee performing here day after day after day after day. Yeah, and you're going to tell me that you got this anonymous report, and it's a complete lie, obviously. Couldn't tell me who was doing it. Me and the same boss witnessed this other chick literally falling asleep right in front of us while we're standing there. And we both looked at each other and shook our head. And I brought that up. I said, well, what about Lynette? She was sitting there passed out, fucked up 2 days ago. Chris, me and you sat there and looked at her do it. We watched this happen. Did anybody address that? I said, this is a bullshit claim. I wasn't falling asleep at my desk, and you know it. But Lynette was, and you know that. But you're not doing anything with Lynette, right? She's not performing as good as what you're supposed to. She's clearly fucked up at her desk. But nothing happens there, right? But the number one employee for almost 2 years here, every day, day in, day out, the number one employee, he doesn't give any problems at all and doesn't fall asleep at his desk. I wasn't on drugs. I took a piss test and passed it after they called the jail and told them the same thing. They called the jail and told them I was falling asleep at work. And I took a piss test and passed it. You know what they did? They threw me in the hole anyway for a whole month. They threw me in the fucking hole. None of it made any sense at all. None of it. It was all fucking backwards. None of it made any sense. Everybody I've told, I didn't know how it operated, how things worked in there. Like I didn't really understand how any of it worked. And it was crazy because the warden actually is the one that made the call at the end. The warden is the one that decided to throw me in the hole. But there was no good reason for it. Okay, I passed my piss test. But because I had prescriptions, right? Because I had my prescription medication in my system. I had a valid prescription. They verified it when I came into the jail. But because it's on one of the, it's a medication that they don't give out in the jail, right? It's a medication that they don't give out. They decided to throw me in the hole. I said, what are you talking about? I have an up-to-date prescription and everything. I said, I don't have that on me. I said, I go to work every day. I take my prescribed medication at work. On my way to work, I don't bring it into the prison, you know? And I didn't abuse it either. And so they knew that I was prescribed this medication. They knew that. Absolutely knew that. And whenever I went to take a piss test, she asked me what was gonna come up, and I told her. I said, just my prescription medication. And she said, okay. And afterwards she said, okay, well, I'm not sure what they're gonna do with this. I'm just gonna leave it on the desk, and it's not in my hands, she said. Tony Mognet. Tony Mognet was the work release probation officer. Right? So they're all involved because they all just pass the buck, and then whenever you know, I'm sitting there waiting for 6 hours in intake, waiting to see what my fate is, you know. I just lost my job for no reason. Nothing made any sense at all. And I have, you know, all this shit. They're like, well, you might have to go to the hole now for the next 28 days, for the next month. It's like, what the fuck just happened? None of it made any sense at all. And whenever I got out of jail, I went back to get my car because I even lent my car to the chick, to Carrie Stiles, who I gave a ride to every day. I gave her a ride every day to work for a year and a half. I thought she was my friend. I did everything for these people. She's the one that got me fired. She's the one that tried to buy my daughter alcohol. She's the one that I lent her my car. Not knowing that she was the one that caused all this. So when I got out of jail, I went to get my car back. She was a bitch to me, like I did something to her. She called me a narcissist. She called me a fucking narcissist. Because I asked her, I said, what am I missing here? I said, what the fuck happened? I don't get it. What did I do something to you? I said, I don't understand why while you're trying to pretend like this is my fault, like I did something wrong. She's like, you're just a narcissist. You don't understand. You can't see what you did. I said, you won't tell me. Nobody will tell me what I did. I didn't do anything wrong. I said, I don't understand. And none of it made any sense because I didn't understand. I didn't know what gang stalking was. I didn't know what the targeting program was yet. I had no idea. But I figured it out later on, and I just got it confirmed and verified over and over and over and over again with every little thing that happened after that. Like when Carrie's boyfriend assaulted me while on the phone with 911, and they didn't do anything. Or when Carrie bought my daughter alcohol, 4 Locos for my daughter and her 14-year-old friends, right? And I went to confront them, and the cops, I reported that. I had the leftover alcohol. I had my daughter's confession. I had screenshots proving of her admitting to it. And they did nothing. They did nothing for any of that. And then, what do you know? A week later, those people just disappeared and moved to Virginia Beach. That's where they went. They moved to Virginia Beach. Don't ask me why or how. Don't ask me. I have no idea why. But that's the video. It's on my channel. It's got the chick that does the video where she says she's like, I guess I'm supposed to make a video blog of my life or something, she says. Well, I don't know. She kind of gives herself away there. She's supposed to make a video blog of her life in Virginia Beach, Florida. And it's funny, the timing of it, because it's right whenever I discovered somebody had hacked my Facebook and from a device in Virginia Beach, right around that time. That's exactly when she said, I'm supposed to do a video blog of my life, and I'm in Virginia Beach. What do you know? I think somebody was trying to set her up and make it look like she's the one that hacked my phone. That's really what it looked like to me. Because why is she supposed to do that? Who told you you're supposed to do that? And she didn't do it. She just made one video, and that was it. She's clearly a narc. And all these other people, they're all fucking narcs working for the fucking cops. And the cops are the bad guys. When are people going to wake up and realize that? Like this guy, They have tools and resources, all kinds of tools and resources they can use, to deal with stuff like that, to deal with stuff. So, just another, I could show these videos all day long, Just remember, you back the blue until it happens to you. So, be good, be vigilant, be leery of police, don't answer any questions. Okay? I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Or if you want to be a dick, you just say, I don't answer questions. And then they ask you something else and you say, I don't answer questions. And then they ask you something else and you say, oh, sorry, I don't answer questions. Am I being detained? And they have to answer you, So be good or be good at it. Peace out.